All right, Cyber traders, welcome on back here this Wednesday afternoon, April 10th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Let me get a quick sound check to begin. Hopefully, you could hear me loud. Hopefully, you could hear me clear because I kind of feel like garbage. Got a bit of a headache. Great to see Margaret, Herbert, Dominic, Barbara, Gary. Now for the Fed minutes meeting, he says, yeah, we had some stuff going on earlier today. Of course, the CPI report earlier out this morning. And then Gary had informed me heading into the open, at least we had the bond market. Some news out there heading into the early afternoon led to a bit of a drop. Let's take a look all around, at least otherwise, but Hub Cybersecurity, HUBC, on our watch list, at least going into the afternoon. It's up about 19-20%. Good order book for right now. It's not just the fact that it's moving upward. It's the fact that it has a tight spread, pretty liquid order book all around. You do have a couple of orders out there, namely at 132. Actually, 132 and at 136, both for about like 14 to 16,000 shares a pop. So that could be resistance up top, like right around 132, 136 area. Yeah, HUBC just right away. I'm going to put this on our list. Hopefully, it could at least hold support from this point forward. But given more of an early afternoon, early to mid afternoon move, just as long as the stock is on good volume, has a good order book, that's something you want to start with. So we'll see if this can keep pushing up. But with that said, though, I'll tell you what, we'll kind of make this pretty quick, just going right across the top percent gainers, top percent losers list. But with that in mind, though, we also have coming up at 4:30 Eastern Time today, big event. We have Fausto and Tom Sosnoff, big event, Options Trading Expo, starting at 4:30 Eastern Time after the market closes. So I look forward to that. I'll be joining Fausto and Tom, not as a presenter myself, but as an attendee. I look forward to hearing from Tom and just really all his insights across the market. So we'll post the link for that momentarily in our chat board for Phil, Kathleen, Gary, Barbara, and all of our students there. But hey, HUBC, let's see what else could add to our watch list here. There we go. Alongside Adam Mesh, there we go. We'll post the link for that. I was expecting Rich right there. There we go. I'll do it myself right there. Coming up at 4:30 p.m. Eastern later on today. Just there's the link for all of our students. But as we keep going through ADIL, nice little pop earlier this morning. I'm not really expecting much of it here. It did pop over 2. You'd want to see it hold over 2 as support. I'll come back to it if I really need to. This trade, the ADIL. Just normally a lot of these like pop and drop stocks from earlier today, they're not going to make that second win type of move. So, if this really wants to hold strong, it will. And I'll come back to it within time. And you could probably say the same on all of these others because they're all very low float. They're trading a lot of volume earlier today. Hey, really quick for our students in the chat board, I hope you've never tried doing this before, the following, what I'm about to say. But if anyone could imagine what it's like breathing through a straw, well, that's pretty much what these stocks are going through right now because they're on tiny floats. They don't trade a lot of volume day to day. They're on a small gas tank. So when they're overexerting energy, they're exhausted. They're breathing through a straw, a lot of energy through a really tiny windpipe right there, right? So leads to exhaustion. These stocks end up just dying off afterwards. Even something like Wave, had a little pop earlier today, heading into the 1 o'clock area, 1:30 area, couldn't hold support. There's a case for it too, right? But if it's not going to, then you're going to get the full-fledged reversal. NA, same thing there. ICCT, same thing from earlier this morning in pre-market. Now, this one had a pop just before GCTS, like at 11:30, 12 o'clock Eastern time, heading into the late morning. Had a good pop, but again, same deal. Just couldn't really hold support at first. Not really looking too good in terms of the order book now. Oh, all right. Well, the fact that the markets are down also do not help the cause. So probably not going to find too much just holding near the highs unless if it's in like an inverse ETF. So UVXY here, we could definitely add to our watch list just given the falling markets that we have. UVIX is basically the same thing, just a little bit more volatile. So keep that in mind. But we'll probably find more with the loser side here coming up. MNMD, familiar name. It's actually not a terrible chart considering all things, but If that's cause to follow a stock for the afternoon, then we're not really building up a good watch list there. So we'll probably follow some stocks that follow the market more, at least at this stage, seeing if there's any good shorts or maybe a dead cat bounce, at least if we're not going to break lower. Got the SGH trade on the loser side down nearly 23%. It is shortable for me still. It's at support. So I could just put it on our watch list for that reason. And if this fails to break lower from here, if it fails to break support at 20, perhaps that's the type of trade that we'll see that dead cat bounce. So, yeah, SGH, I don't mind just slipping on our list. DC Go, Go, not really doing too much now. Geez, there's a lot that's down. Of course, as we all know, the whole market's dropping a little. But otherwise, I mean, really, I don't see too many familiar names that's down big. So I'm sure there are some stocks down 4, 5, 6%. Just not really towards the top of the loser side here. If there's anything else looking good from Phil or Dominic, Gary, Susie, any of our students in chat right now, just toss it in the chat board. Let me know. IRBT, that big short squeeze that we had from last week, pulling back today. Dominic says still observing Para, Para. That was one I thought that we had on our watch list back on Monday this week. Dropped off then, a little bit lower and lower it went. Yeah, it's down over 6%. Just it's exactly the type of stock I was asking to at least consider. It's pulling back down a little bit towards $10. It's starting to bounce a little bit here. It's tradable. I could put this on our watch list for now. It's very liquid, right within our price range. Gary says Delta moving back up a little. Yeah, and all right. So what's the deal here with the market? We're just chopping around a little bit, right? We haven't really broken lower just yet, although I feel like we will. I would want to follow a stock that not only can go with the market, which Delta could, but one that is looking pretty weak in terms of the chart and news on top. Well, Delta news that came out this morning was earnings related, right? Well, I think they had a pop early this morning in pre-market, so maybe it was good earnings, but they still end up dropping overall. Let's see. Q1 adjusted beat, sales beat, reiterates 2024 outlook, better than expected Q1 earnings. So as far as like if the markets keep dropping, I don't know if we'll continue to get such a steep drop on Delta necessarily. It's tradable though. So if you do well on Delta day to day, if you were following earlier today, you'll probably be more inclined to keep it in mind for the afternoon. Well, I'll tell you what, looking back on the gainer side here, at least first, not much else looking good as far as the gainer side. So if there's anything else as far as the short goes, definitely type it in the chat board. You got Tesla here, maybe not down 5%, but kind of teetering that 170 support line. Apple, Fausto was talking about earlier today, since it broke below that 170 level of its own. I was watching AMD with one of our students on a coaching call, just reviewing the trade, going back in hindsight, like why it made the drop and what levels to focus on. So I'm sure there could be a couple other trades to work with, but I'll tell you right now, folks, I mean, overall, man, we got the HUBC on the way up, and also on the way up, we got the inverse ETFs. We got UVXY, UVIX. Hey, if you have level 4, you'll be able to trade those stocks, if anything. From Garrett on YouTube right now, or Twitter perhaps, asking about NVIDIA. Yeah, NVIDIA held nicely, at least for now, but unless if we got a strong pop in the market, that could be a play if we get a bounce across the SPY. But I feel like we'll probably just continue to chop a little bit lower towards the close. That's my personal prediction. If I'm wrong on that, so be it. But NVIDIA, if it ends up making a bounce with the market, that's one thing. But I'd rather just come back to NVIDIA tomorrow, just see if it ends up making a better play in the morning. Going back to Wave, WAVE, it would have been nice to put on our list if it was 130, not 230. Now at this point, with this thing tanking, we're done with this trade. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, folks. I said we were going to make it quick, and we did because otherwise we're in a falling market. Not going to find much on the gainer side there. Tesla wouldn't be a bad idea as far as a short. That is looking pretty weak. That wouldn't be a bad thought there, like we had up just before. But outside of that, at least UVXY, UVIX, HUBC, all of those on the way up. And then the SGH, the para trades, we'll at least keep in mind heading into the afternoon. And we'll go from there. All right. Hey, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. Hey, one more time. Actually, some big housekeeping coming up today, tomorrow. Two huge events. Fausto, Tom Sasanov, founder of Tasty Trade, that is, and legend Adam Mesh in his own right. Big event later on this afternoon at 4:30 Eastern time. So again, just actually go right to the CTU homepage. You'll find that registration link. And also for our students here in chat inside our room, we post that link for you to click on as well, just in the main chat board right there. But make sure that you attend. That'll be at 4:30 Eastern time later on this afternoon, and then as well as tomorrow, we'll do part 2 tomorrow as well. So just for those of us that joining us later on today, you'll have access to tomorrow's part 2. But best of luck trading going into the market close altogether, and I'll be back on the mic. Hey, at 3:00, 3:05, I'll jump back on, and then we'll see if there's anything else to work with. All right, talk to you all then. Take care.